Right, good afternoon. Saturday afternoon. Escaped up here for a while. Listened to a bit of sport on the radio. Looking forward to today's rugby, which I enjoy. But hobby-wise, not much has been happening. In fact, hardly anything this week. I've managed to finish off the Macedonian Phalanx, which I'll show you in greater detail in a moment. Now, with the lack of time concerning painting, I've had a couple of things arrive in the post, a couple of books. Couldn't resist it, and first of all was this classic by George Gush. Very interesting. It's something I've had, people who know me, something I've had on my mind for quite some time. So there's that. It looks all a little bit dated inside, but it's very informative. So I bought that. Quite undecided what sort of area of the Renaissance period I am interested. I remember there was a few pictures in a miniature war games many years ago of Muscovites and Poles. That looks, the variety of uniforms and troop types does look quite interesting. So I've been reading that, and I also dipped a toe into this. I think the book itself is mainly scenarios. There's not a huge amount of background information on this period, but it's interesting reading. Would I be more attracted to the 30 Years' War than the English Civil War? Mainly because of the different troop types and variation, which is always nice to see on the tabletop. I might be more drawn to this, but I think who can turn down Polish Wing Hussars? I mean, this is all pie in the sky at the moment, but I've stopped buying figures, as I said before previously, just to catch up, and hopefully next year or come Christmas time, another project will be coming along, but I haven't got that much time to myself at the moment, so I can get the figures quite easily. I think I may have mentioned before, when you're younger, obviously financial implications of collecting 28mm metals was something to be thought about. As you get older, you know, you do tend to have a little bit more money, but the time, it sort of just swaps around, and the time is pressing. Yeah, so that's where I am hobby-wise. I'm enjoying other people's videos very much, and I think there's some great content in our community. And what I did think now, I'll approach a subject which I've never thought about before, and I don't want people jumping on me saying, "Oh, this is, you know, you're taking the mickey out of this, that, and the other." But I was in conversation on the phone the other day with my good friend Tony from my club, and we're discussing all things new, what periods we can collect, and it was across the board, generally about the hobby, but more about what figures to buy and where does it end. I said, where's this going to end? Where's this hobby end? Do we just keep on adding to our existing collections, or do we start new periods? Because we were thinking about Wellington and India. We can use Tony's British Napoleonics for the Brits, obviously. I mean, not totally, well, they're not accurate, but they'll give a flavour. But then we just said, well, if we collect the Maharathas, I'm not totally up to speed on the period, but we saw a very good game at Salute a couple of years ago. If we buy, say, an Indian army to use for black powder, all you do is replicating, with a few variations. You're just replicating the armies that we have for black powder. And he said, "Oh, we'll never stop." He said, "This quest for new periods and the new figures and all the shiny stuff that comes through that gives you enthusiasm." I said, "Well, it's got to stop somewhere." And he said, "No, because the chances are that we're on the spectrum. And I said, what? He said, we could well be on the spectrum, this obsession. I said, no way. And so I looked it up. I had a bit of time to myself. And please don't take this the wrong way, that if you are on the spectrum, I'm not taking the mickey. I'm just thinking, well, he could possibly be right here. Are we on the spectrum with this collecting? We have this all-encompassing hobby of ours that, you know, it does tend to run away with you sometimes. And I've said before that the difference between having a passion for a subject and having an obsession for a subject sometimes is wafer thin. And I've crossed over there occasionally when Joe will say, no, oi, back off here. Get back in the real world. And sometimes that happens. It has happened. I remember I was recovering from when I had my gallbladder out those years ago, 4 years ago. And I painted up my artist. And she just said, this is getting ridiculous. You don't need to, because I had a lot of time off work, especially in the lockdowns as well. It might have got a little bit too much, and then I thought to myself, maybe I am on the spectrum, maybe we are on the spectrum. Let me know your thoughts, and please don't give the old thumbs down because there he goes again, he's slagging somebody off. I'm not, I'm totally, it's just something new I've never thought about. Let me know what you think. Crossing over to the obsession from a passion. Anyway, what I'll do a couple of close-ups of these. Well, I'll put a video together, and thanks to everybody who said about the damp problem I had, I went out and I bought a load of these. These are the 4 litre ones for my Ancients, as you can see. Look at those, they're just right. So I've been getting rid of my file boxes. They're not cheap. They're pretty double the price and a bit more of a file box. But they stack nicely, and thanks for the advice. Anyway, let's go and have a look at these. Right, so this is Phalanx unit number 6. And these are the unarmoured pike by Museum Miniatures. And it's part of their very good Z range. Transfers are by the Veni, that one. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I believe I said that. Just your water slide transfers. That's all you need at 15mm, I think. And so they go together like that. 48 on 2 60 by 60mm bases. Over there, and they will be joining in my new plastic box. Right, let's just okay. That's the rest of them there. I find myself all enthused now. I've been just picking at bits and pieces recently, and I started back on the 10mm Franco-Prussians. Not overly enthused about those. They're just too small for my tired eyes, and then I just started painting up the first. I've got about 6 or 7 figures from Gringos 40 Vietnam, and these will be the Special Forces. Say I'm a bit rushed for time, so I'm not really liking stuff at the moment, but I'll, you know, it happens. We can't enthuse all the time, but I must admit I'm a bit drawn by the Renaissance period. We'll have to see. Anyway, thanks for watching.